Good morning out there in Facebook land. This is Morgan Denny with the Institute of Clinical Excellence, and I wanted to take this miraculous Tuesday, which is officially Giving Tuesday in Facebook land, to talk to you guys about some strategies for getting home exercise programs to be a little bit simpler, more straightforward, and get your patients actually doing them consistently. So I wanted to talk about the KISS principle. For any of you who were not alive for the last 10 years, the KISS principle is keep it simple, stupid. And while you're talking to your patients about their home exercises, or if you're using this strategy, it's not necessarily necessary to tell them what the acronym means, but that's what it is. So I want to talk about the idea of being able to simplify people's home exercise programs and their goals. Keep in mind that when you're introducing new ideas to a patient, and you're trying to talk to them about their body, which is sort of a foreign land or space to them sometimes, it can be really overwhelming and confusing when you give them a lot of things to work on, or if you're not really straightforward about what their goal is. So one of the strategies I use with patients who have a lot to do, or who are not having success kind of completing their home exercises in a more standard fashion, is I will give them one goal for each week or each between treatment session. For example, I might give someone ankle mobility as their goal, and that entire week all they're doing is stretching their calf muscles and moving their foot around and doing child's pose to gain plantar flexion. But maybe just one straightforward thing. And then the next week, maybe you give them hip extension, and they're doing a lot of quad stretching and step backs and whatever it is that you like to use for that one goal to accomplish that. But the nice thing about using the KISS principle is that patients understand what you want them to do. When they know what their goal is and why they're doing it, they are far more likely to be compliant and far more likely to feel empowered to kind of do it more and more frequently. Patients these days having access to the magic of Google, while it can be not super effective or great when you are trying to self-diagnose what your problem is, it can be actually very empowering when you have a goal in mind. So that patient that I assigned ankle mobility to might Google ankle mobility or fun and exciting calf stretches or whatever and whatnot, but then they might find other strategies that they could use to then accomplish that goal. Again, empowering the patient so that they feel like they have more control in the situation, which is awesome. Keeping it simple will really help them to kind of strategize and figure that out. So, for example, if you have a runner, you are not necessarily going to change everything about their gait in one session. That would be incredibly difficult and also kind of confounding. So, for example, if you know that you want them to work on their footfall and their trunk placement and, where their center of mass is over their feet and their arm swing, you're never going to bombard this patient with all those changes at once. You're going to say, hey, such and such, I really want you to work on your foot strike. And then you're going to give them the appropriate cues and send them off into the world. So if you keep it simple and keep it straightforward and focused, patients have a lot better success rate with being able to accomplish that and also to mentally handle that idea. Similarly, if I had a new MVA patient, someone who had just been in a car accident within the week or so, the biggest thing I coach them in is understanding that their big goal, week one, is just to rest and let their system heal. Once patients have that correct goal in mind, it's a lot easier for them to kind of get behind the idea that they are resting, they're relaxing, they're letting their nervous system calm down, and they have more appropriate expectations that they're not going to be back at work week one. They're not going to be, jump roping or climbing or doing whatever their normal is right off the bat because their goal for that week is just to rest. It's one of those things where humans really hate change, no matter what it is, for good or bad. And so when you try to implement a brand new exercise program for any human on this planet, it's going to be hard for them to fit it in. So when you make it more straightforward, direct, and applicable, it gets a lot more easy to swallow, basically. So, for example, if you had a patient who you wanted them to just work on balance, Maybe balance is the only goal that you have for that 1 week or that one between session duration. So you might take that goal and you might say, hey, I want you to stand on one foot when you're brushing your teeth, when you're making coffee. I want you to walk heel to toe when you see a vertical line straight in front of you. I want you to walk on the edge of the curb if you're out and about, as long as that's safe and appropriate, of course. But you're giving them the goal of balance so that they can then go out into the world and find anything that deals with balance that is safe and appropriate and effective, and implementing that as much as they can. So remember, guys, if you can keep it simpler with exercises, patients can get a more straightforward idea of what you want them to do and how, right? So don't use any big words. Don't necessarily get super detailed into some movement problem. It's not that we're not thinking about it that way, but you don't want patients to glom onto the idea that they've got a million problems. So keep it simple, right? Just say, hey, we're going to work on your knee strength. Hey, today I'm going to work on your foot position. And then give them a lot of strategies in which to work on that one thing, and then kind of allow them to just do it as much as they can. If they have that straightforward principle in mind, they are far more likely to take that home and do their home exercise program and not feel overwhelmed by needing to do too many things at once. As a last note, today is Giving Tuesday on Facebook, as I mentioned, and probably Tuesday anyway, no matter where you are. But today, all of your donations on Facebook to nonprofits get doubled up to a certain amount by the Gates Foundation. So if you have extra money and a nonprofit, Stand the Haiti Project, that you would love to support, today's a great day to do it because organizations get double your money, double your fun. So guys, have a great day. Remember, KISS is a good principle, not only because kissing is fun, but also because it's great to keep it simple. Have a great day.